I also now have very strong evidence which suggests that you lied about your whereabouts on the morning of September 10th. Little details have been edited. You said that you were accompanying your mother as she was receiving a treatment. Like I said, I now have something which strongly disputes that narrative. So I'll ask you this question.
I'm nervous that there could be, they'll say we can't find a fair jury. Like they're going to taint the jury pool. And in that case,
that's how widespread you think these conspiracies have gone.
Yes.
That's how mainstream they become.
Okay. Egyptian planes.
You want to talk about Egyptian planes?
Okay. I was pregnant for 90% of those trips. Mind you, I've never, all those places they said I'd travel, I've never been. I mean, I've been, but I'm not within those states that they've.
But you even said you need to.
No, but this is, yeah, but I do on that one. Only because, from a humor standpoint, I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed, not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private, but it's because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me, my baby. The world that Charlie and I live in is very toxic at times.
Yeah.
And when you are growing a beautiful child in you, I don't want to be around it. I want to enjoy eating my In-N-Out burger and my hot fudge sundae.
For months, people dismissed the rumors surrounding Erika Kirk's pregnancy as nothing more than internet speculation. But now, Candace Owens is connecting old clips, resurfaced timelines, and questions that refuse to go away, and suddenly people are looking at Charlie Kirk's entire marriage differently. Because if Charlie was led to believe a child was his when it wasn't, then this story is no longer about image management or public perception. It becomes a question of whether one of the biggest secrets in Charlie Kirk's life was hidden from him until it was too late to uncover the truth. One statement from Erika kept resurfacing every time the conversation came up. She explained that during her pregnancy, she deliberately stepped away from public view. According to her, it wasn't about shame or insecurity. She described it as a deeply personal period and said she wanted to experience it privately, away from cameras and public attention. But that explanation ended up creating a different conversation altogether.
I'm nervous that there could be, they'll say we can't find a fair jury. Like they're going to taint the jury pool. And in that case,
that's how widespread you think these conspiracies have gone.
Yes.
That's how mainstream they become.
Okay. Egyptian planes.
You want to talk about Egyptian planes?
Okay. I was pregnant for 90% of those trips. Mind you, I've never, all those places they said I'd travel, I've never been. I mean, I've been, but I'm not within those states that they've.
But you even said you need to.
No, but this is, yeah, but I do on that one. Only because, from a humor standpoint, I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed, not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private, but it's because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me, my baby. The world that Charlie and I live in is very toxic at times.
Yeah.
And when you are growing a beautiful child in you, I don't want to be around it. I want to enjoy eating my In-N-Out burger and my hot fudge sundae.
People began asking questions about Erika Kirk's children, not because they doubted her role as a mother, but because of growing speculation surrounding how those children entered her life. Rumors started circulating online suggesting she may have used a surrogate without ever publicly acknowledging it. The theory didn't appear overnight. It grew slowly as people revisited years of photos, interviews, and public appearances looking for details they may have missed. That's when some observers realized something unusual.
Y'all, whose kids are these? Whose kids are these? Erika Kirk provided this as proof of where she was September 9th.
Despite Erika's public profile, many couldn't recall ever seeing clear evidence of her pregnancy. There were no widely circulated event photos showing a visible baby bump, no candid images from public appearances, and very little documentation of what would normally be one of the most photographed periods in a public figure's life. The search led many back to a single ultrasound image Erika had shared publicly. For some, that should have ended the discussion. Instead, it opened another one. Viewers noticed the name displayed on the image appeared to be Erika Francevey, her maiden name rather than Erika Erika Kirk. By that point, she was already married to Charlie Kirk. On its own, it seemed minor, but when people feel they're missing pieces of a larger story, even small details begin attracting attention. Erika's explanation remained consistent. She said she chose privacy. She described pregnancy as a special chapter she wanted to experience away from public scrutiny. Many people accepted that explanation. In fact, plenty of supporters viewed it as understandable in an era where nearly everything is documented online. Then the circumstances changed. Following Charlie's death, Erika became significantly more visible. She appeared in interviews, podcasts, speaking engagements, public events, and media appearances with remarkable frequency. For some observers, the contrast stood out immediately. The timing is what made people uncomfortable. If privacy had been the priority during pregnancy, why did public visibility increase so dramatically afterward? That question reignited discussions that had never fully disappeared.
Turning Point USA did a massive purge. What did you hear about that purge?
I heard there were 30 to 40 people purged, that they were looking for the leak. They knew there are leaks out of TPUSA. They are terrified of these leaks because of what TPUSA has been up to. And rather than try to be an honest organization, it's just, let's get rid of all the people we think might be disclosing that we're a dishonest organization.
And you can see from behind me, this is a recreation of the tent where Charlie Kirk lost his life at Utah University in September, and people are taking selfies with it.
I can't. I cannot. I am not capable of whatever that. When I saw this, I realized I do not know enough words. I had to consult a thesaurus, and I still could not land upon the correct adjective to describe how I felt when I saw that tent. People taking selfies under a recreation. I don't know if it's actually the tent. It looks like it's pretty old, or a tent that Charlie died under. That's what was happening at AmFest. Horrified. I was aghast. I don't think I ever described myself as aghast. I was aghast. It was ghastly to look at that and to realize that they made a conscious decision to allow that to happen. To what end?
I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than go. I don't drink. I find it unproductive, not because I'm holier than whatever. I just don't operate that way. But I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. So it goes twofold here. So if you're expecting to marry someone that I was blessed with, like a Charlie, you have to be the type of woman that will attract a Charlie. Are you going to church? Are you going to Bible study?
To be clear, most of the debate wasn't centered on surrogacy itself. People generally viewed surrogacy as a valid personal choice. What generated controversy was the possibility that the public may have been given one impression while something entirely different happened behind the scenes. Once that idea entered the conversation, people started examining old content more closely. Another thing that attracted attention was the children themselves. Their identities remained heavily protected. Faces rarely appeared in photos. Images often showed them from behind, partially obscured or positioned in ways that concealed identifying features. Some saw this as responsible parenting, others saw it as another layer of mystery.
Story time. So we're here at Bill's Burgers in New York City. And right near this very table was the first time Dada met Mama. And it started as a job interview. And I was asking all these questions. Philosophy, religion, Jesus. And then I realized Mama was beautiful and smart and elegant and Christ-like. And so I said, forget this job interview. I want to date you. And I said, I have enough friends. And that's where your journey started.
Without clear images, people felt there was no way to independently verify timelines or compare details. Then side-by-side photos began circulating online. According to those sharing them, the images supposedly showed the same child only weeks apart. Critics argued the differences appeared larger than expected. Hair color, facial development, and overall size became topics of debate. People started asking whether the timeline actually matched what they were being told. No definitive answers emerged. At the same time, Erika's increasingly busy schedule became another point of discussion. Between media appearances, foundation work, travel, speaking engagements, and public commitments, some observers wondered how much time she was spending with the children. From the public's perspective, very little of her day-to-day family life was visible. There were few spontaneous moments, few unscripted glimpses, and almost nothing that offered insight into her role as a parent behind closed doors. Everything appeared carefully managed. Some online theories became even more speculative. One rumor suggested the children may have come through international adoption connected to Erika's charitable work overseas. References were made to her involvement in Romania and her work supporting orphan children. From there, additional theories emerged. None of those claims were substantiated. No evidence ever surfaced confirming them. Then some people started connecting these questions to older controversies. Past statements about relationships became part of the discussion. Erika had previously suggested Charlie was her first serious love, but public records and earlier relationships complicated that narrative. References to former partner JT Massey resurfaced online, leading some people to question whether earlier stories had been presented accurately.
Really handsome.
You look gorgeous. Are you fixing my... I got a little bacon. Babe, that's deep in there. Give them a cleavage. People want cleavage. Showcase it.
Sells, babe.
Sells. That's me.
That's against our religion.
It's not. It's within the confines of marriage.
Then other contradictions were revisited. Claims about never drinking alcohol were compared against older footage and reality television appearances that appeared to show a different lifestyle. Critics argued these weren't hidden discoveries requiring extensive investigation. They were publicly available clips anyone could find. One inconsistency by itself may not mean much, but once people identify several, they start reevaluating everything else. That's when older questions returned with renewed intensity.
I think I always had that girly girl hidden within me. After being such a tomboy and experiencing that my whole life, it was like, oh, I can curl my hair, I can put on the mascara. I come from a great family that has very amazing genetics, so thanks Mom and Dad.
The missing pregnancy documentation, protected identities of the children, timeline debates, the explanations that critics felt didn't fully address the concerns being raised. Alongside those discussions came broader accusations about image management. Online critics claimed emotional moments appeared overly polished or carefully staged. Some even suggested that Erika's public persona felt less authentic than presented. None of those allegations have been proven, but they continue circulating because they fit a larger narrative that many critics already believe. And that's ultimately why the surrogate theory gained traction among certain audiences. What keeps the conversation alive is the absence of clear answers, and as long as those questions remain unanswered, people will continue focusing on the same thing they have from the beginning, not what they've seen, but what they haven't. The online community hasn't been quiet. One online user bluntly said, "They ain't his kids." People would notice, question the harlot, and find out the truth is a lie. Another wrote, she pronounced, "I was growing a human so angry and harsh. People do not say this way about their pregnancy. There is no way a woman who spent so much time in front of the camera chasing reality TV shows wouldn't have posted small baby bump photos. She doesn't look like she's ever naturally carried a child." Yet another user commented, "This woman is a complete fraud. No pregnancy while married to Charlie Kirk." So what do you think? Are people uncovering meaningful inconsistencies? And if more voices from inside Charlie Kirk's circle continue speaking publicly, will it bring clarity or simply create even more questions? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. And make sure to hit that like and subscribe button because this story is far from over.